So now I'm here with Vince Curry, who has served as a deputy from this diocese for a long time. It's what, 15 conventions have you been to?
42 years.
42 years Vince has been coming to General Convention. And this year he's serving as an alternate. He's here to represent the Church Pension Fund Board, which you rotate off of this year.
This year,
Yeah.
in September.
Okay. And we are actually on the floor after a legislative session, and I thought this would be a good shot to get for us so y'all can see that this is where we're sitting, and the front of the hall is way up there. We were right by the back, but in some ways that's easier. But it was nice being up near the front last year. So the three questions we're asking everybody to remind you are: what's fed your soul, what's inspired you, and what it is that you want to bring back to the diocese from this general convention. So Vince, I'll ask you, what's fed your soul?
Well, actually, Peter, and thank you for this opportunity. What's fed my soul and what has inspired me, is that the second question?
Yeah.
Or the same thing.
Okay.
And that's the evangelistic enthusiasm in the worship services. The first opening service was just fabulously attended and full of people and full of enthusiasm. Traditional Episcopal service, and the presiding bishop was just on fire, talking about life and love and his regular Jesus movement sermon, and that's always so inspirational. So you leave with a real strong sense of the power of the leadership in this church right now, especially from him. And then that is also inspiring and feeding my soul at the same time, because 2 days later, or Sunday I guess it was, or Saturday, whenever it was, we went to I went, not everybody in the deputation went, but several of us did, including the bishop, to the revival. They called it a revival out at the Parkinson Palmer Center. And the presiding bishop preached for 50 minutes. And I'll tell you what, and that included, of course, standing ovations and clapping and hollering and whooping. And he had an interpreter, which is a prominent thing here too, to interpret for the Province 9 people in Spanish. And it was an absolutely magnificent experience, for sure, and something that I shall never forget. And I hope that if anybody in the diocese has an opportunity to see it, I'm sure it's been recorded. You may get tired of listening to it, but I never get tired of listening to him. And that's the theme here. Is what a powerful message he's bringing to this church. And I hope that we will leave here with that enthusiasm, and I feel sure that we will, because I'm sure he'll preach again, probably at the closing Eucharist on Thursday, I guess it is.
He won't let us go without it.
No, I don't think so. And what do I want to bring back to the diocese? Well, this is my first experience as an alternate. I have been the deputy from the Central Gulf Coast since 1976. This is my 50th General Convention, and I would probably be, the day that I sat on the floor for Scott Remington, I was the senior deputy in the House of Deputies. Byron Rushing and I have been coming the same amount of time, but he came in another capacity, his first convention, and there's nobody else that's been to that many conventions. So I'm proud of that. I would never have reached the record of Charlie Crump from Memphis, who served 18 consecutive general conventions before he died. And when he died, he was 20 years older than I am now, so I'm not ever aspiring to that. This will probably be my last general convention, because in all truthfulness, it's probably outgrown me. I don't know whether it would be different if I were in the House of Deputies every time, 6 to 8 hours a day. But the church is changing. It needs to change, I'm sure. My message to the diocese would be not be dismayed by what you might hear in the media, or what you might hear on the street, or what you might hear from somebody who might not know what they're talking about. I hope that the bishop, and I think he does plan to have
I've already told him.
get-togethers after the convention, where the diocese will have an opportunity to be informed about what's going on here. There's been a strong move afoot in the House of Deputies, as a matter of fact. It passed yesterday, or this morning, I forget which, to revise the prayer book over 12-year period, and asking for $2 million out of the budget. Well, I've sat in the House of Bishops all afternoon today, and they're not going to be able to vote till tomorrow because they spoke about it all afternoon today. And if I had to guess, I'd guess that it's not going to pass the House of Bishops. They used a lot of reasons why. There may be some reason, some need for a new prayer book or prayer book revision, but they want to emphasize what the presiding bishop is talking about, which is evangelism, racial reconciliation, and those issues that also going to take money. Money's an issue. As you know, David Whitmire's on the Program Budget Finance Committee, which I chaired for 9 years, 10 years ago, or 12, and money's going to always be an issue. People ask for money, whether it's in the budget or not, and sometimes they don't get it. This is a $1.9 million request that I think the bishops are going to say could be spent better. And so you heard about that. I heard before I came out here, even though we're deputies and not delegates, people in our diocese said, please don't start prayer book revision yet. So I think those who feel that way can probably rest assured that it's not going to pass. We'll know that by this time tomorrow whether it did or didn't. There haven't been any other serious issues that I think that I could come home and talk about. Representing the church pension fund here has been interesting because we do have some serious issues of social responsibility and investment, serious issues of the relationship with the church and the church pension fund. The church pension fund being a very independent body, although they are elected by the general convention, all the trustees. But once a trustee is a trustee, he or she has the full responsibility to be fiduciaries to run the church pension fund, which is a $13 billion operation and keeps the clergy happy in retirement, and lay people too now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I would just come home with a kind of it's been a good experience with an attitude of pray for the church, keep praying for the church. And I would also encourage those who might think they want to try this to do just that. We've got about 3 new deputies this year, which is good. And I strongly encourage your participation and getting involved because it's where you see the church in action. You see all sizes, shapes, and dress of people, which I usually try to dress up. Not everybody does, and that's okay. That's another societal trend.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's pretty much it.
Good deal. Thank you, Vince.
Is that
And
enough?
and here's what I loved about what you said is, I think what your first answer really is your last answer as well. That enthusiasm for evangelism, that fire for reaching people. If we don't bring that back, then we've missed the point.
I think that's a really good point, Peter. And what was so prominent in the House of Bishops discussion this afternoon was the fact that our churches are struggling now for numbers of people and for attracting younger and different people. I mean, one bishop stood up and said, I'm 50 years old and I'm considered a youngster around here. And he said, that's not what the church needs to be. So he said, we don't want to, they were saying, we don't want to bring them a book, have a church full of books, and nobody shows up to use them. So that's a good point. We need to get them in the pew and let everybody be involved in the discussion, be inclusive.
Great. Thank you, Vince.
Thank you, my friend.
We'll see
Good luck,
you
Central
next
Golf
time.
Course.